My 35F friend slapped my bum on a night out, leaving a handprint. My husband, 30M, doesn't believe it was her. How to convince him? Went out for a friend's birthday on Friday night and had a few drinks. Early on in the night, I tripped over before I'd even had a drink, and I ended up on all fours and one of my friends ran and slapped my bum. We all laughed and the night carried on, and I thought nothing more of it. When I got home around 1 a.m. my husband was still awake in bed. I undressed to get into bed, and that's when he noticed I had a hand mark on my bum. He instantly jumped out of bed and started demanding to know what it was and who did it. I stuttered a bit because I couldn't even remember, then it dawned on me, so I told him what happened, but he didn't believe me. He asked for my phone and obviously found nothing too serious, but just said I deleted everything to cover my tracks. I went to the bathroom to have a look in the mirror, and there was a definite handprint on there. He followed me, and we stood there arguing for over half an hour, and every time I tried to leave as I was cold and naked, he'd stop me and accuse me of trying to run away. He said this doesn't sound like my friend at all, which is true as she's a very timid, quiet person. He also said the handprint is too big for a woman, but my friend is tall, she's around 6 foot, and does have big hands. I even ended up bringing my friend to corroborate my story, and she even offered to come round and prove the handprint is hers by putting her hand on the print. He said we'd made up the story between us all and used the tall friend as the culprit as she'd have the biggest handprint. Asked the group chat if any of them had a video, but they don't. All weekend we've been having this discussion, and he doesn't believe me. The handprint has gone now, but he can't let it go and keeps constantly asking me. It's 4:45 a.m. here, and he woke me up at 4 to ask about it. How can I make him believe me? I don't know what to do. TLDR. Friend slapped my bum and left a handprint. Husband doesn't believe me and thinks it's a man. Comments Kumisha Jones. Okay, so logically the facts. You couldn't remember it happening even though you were sober. It would have to really hard to leave a full handprint through clothing to have it still there fully 5, 6, 7 hours later. Slap your own bare thigh, and it's gone in an hour or so. He's got every right to question it and the right to not believe you because it honestly sounds sketchy. Generally, to have a full handprint, not bruised as you said it went away, would have to be hard on bare skin. Is this post to make the story believable? OOP no, because he won't see this post. I was wearing a thin dress and a thong, an outfit he chose out for me I might add, and I was on my hands and knees so the skin was tight, and I'm on blood thinners so I do mark and bruise easily. All facts he knew. Long haul 1967 I'll come to OP's defense, as I also am on blood thinners. My ex-husband spanked me, while clothed, and it was abusively hard. I had a blue handprint for 2 months. OP's story is very much possible. OOP I've got bruises on my legs from a table that I haven't owned since Christmas. LOL revenge, or your husband is insecure, untrusting, and by the sounds of it quite happy to make you feel scared, cold, vulnerable, and verbally abused. He has made his mind up on what happened and too emotionally volatile to he reason with. You in danger, girl. OOP I said keeping me naked and cold was to make me feel weak, but he said he just didn't want me running off to give me time to make up a story. Padawal, could you show him any scrape marks or twizes on your knees from tripping over the grate when you fell? OOP I've got a bruise on one knee and a tear in my dress. Spalding Penroth 3RD, check his phone because he's really overacting over this. Because everything you told is believable, and why would you cheat and then have evidence like that? You don't need to convince him, you need to start questioning him on why he is reacting like this. OOP, and why would I strip to have sex with him and drop my dress with my bum pointed out and at him about a foot away from his face if I was cheating and trying to hide it? No philosopher 6111 if my girlfriend came home at 1 a.m. wasted and had a man-sized handprint on her ass, I would also assume she had cheated. Spoiler, I'm not cheating on my girlfriend and I've never been cheated on or have trust issues. I don't get how you can't all see his perspective. Reddit is fucking wild. If a guy came home with lipstick on his shirt but was saying it was from his mate who was messing around with some lipstick and got it on him, everyone would be like, nope, he's a cheater. I think you cheated on him and your excuse is terrible. If I was him, you'd be out the door. OOP, who said I was wasted? I had 3 glasses of wine over 6 hours. Update, after 6 days, March 15th, 2026. To start with, I'll clear a few things up from my last post. My husband chose my outfit for me that night, and it was a very thin dress with a thong underneath, so there was very little protection of my derriere. I was also on all fours laughing, so my bum was sticking up, and then I heard footsteps running towards me and got absolutely thunderclapped on my arse. The sound echoed around the housing estate, and you know a slap is good when both the slapper and the slappee are in agony. All night that cheek was warmer than the other. I'm also on blood thinners, which means I mark and bruise very easily. Second thing is my stammering when I told him. Might be TMI, but I was doing a strip tease for him while he was in bed, and as I let my dress drop, I stuck my bum out so it was right near him, and he screamed at the top of his voice, "What the fuck is that?" And then jumped out of bed and got in my face, making me fall onto the bed and screamed, "Who the fuck did that?" It took me a couple of seconds to realize what he meant. If he asked normally, I'd have said, Emily slapped my arse. Also, I wasn't drunk like so many people said. I had 3 glasses of wine over 6 hours. All the men who said a married woman shouldn't be out without her husband, and there was at least 5 of you, are gross. My husband goes out every weekend, but I do it 3 times a year, and I'm for the streets. People asked about our sex life. We used to have sex, or I'd give him oral nearly every day, but the last few months it's dried up to once a week. I have brought this up with him, as I need it more. Also, the not-so-serious thing he found on my phone, which a lot of men took to mean I'd been messaging someone else, was a porn video I'd favorite, because I like it. Right on to the update. It's been over a week. He still doesn't believe me, and I've told him I want to split up with him. Emily offered to come round on the night, and he said no. I've told him to speak to all my friends, and he said no. When I said look at the rip in my dress from where I fell, and my bloody knees, he said that's from me giving head. How aggressively does he think I dropped to my knees? He's looked through my phone, and found nothing. When I asked to look through his, he said, no, I'm not the one on trial here. He's woke me up 3 times in the night to berate me. He's burnt all my going out clothes. He's threatened to post photos and videos of me to show the world what a slag I am. He's also grabbed me twice, and pushed me onto the sofa once, which I will be informing my brother about later when I see him for Mother's Day. So all in all a shit week, and I've told him to get the fuck out of my house and I'll be divorcing him. He's not worked for 6 months and has no savings, and the house was mine before I met him, and he's never paid towards the mortgage or any repair or upkeep work, so he's getting fuck all. Comments babbling butcher 420 girl get security cameras, and for sure talk to your brother. If anyone shoved or laid hands on my family, I wouldn't even care about the jail time ID face. OOP, I've already got them around my house and got dog watching cameras inside. Rockham69, call your brother now, don't wait. Someone needs to know OOP, I've just seen him this afternoon for Mother's Day. I told him everything. Princess Seldarmple, he's accusing you because he has something to hide for sure. He's messaging girls, watches of something. He's definitely thought about cheating. Good for you taking out the trash. OOP, I genuinely don't care if he's watching porn or subscribing to of, but there's something going off if he won't let me see his phone. Every swear, 8994 sounds like he's been cheating. Also weird that he hasn't worked or put anything towards the house. No savings? Good riddance, the trash took itself out. What a bum. OOP, he was at uni when we met, and since has floated around jobs, and that's it Mackin 30. 6, has he left the house after you told him to? Just so you're safe and not having to deal with him. OOP, yeah, he's at his mum's humble meerkat, absolutely kick him out. If I had a mark on my rear like that, my husband would laugh his arse off and never let me live it down. And the friend who did it would forever afterward be named Slappy or something. Point being, he would believe me and never assume if I had scraped up knees that I suddenly had a total personality shift to giving random stranger head. I mean, what the what? He sounds like a total violent petty loser anyway, and you're better off without him. Plus people he goes straight into paranoid, cheating delusions are usually that way because they're cheating themselves. Have you wondered if you're getting sex elsewhere, and that's why your sex life dried up? Throw him out and burn all his stuff in return. OOP, I thought he'd find it funny. But no. This is a man who has a video on his phone of him having a piss at the urinal, and one of his friends pulling his trousers down, and then reaching between his legs and dragging him around the toilet by his balls. But a friend slapping my arse is unbelievable. New update 2. After 22 days, March 31st, 2026, I've had a lot of messages from people asking for an update, so here it is. It's a pretty uneventful one as nothing has happened, but I'll try and clear things up. In my first update, I mentioned kicking him out, and he's still out and I haven't heard from him at all. My brother did go to see him and his brothers after Mother's Day, so maybe that's why I haven't heard from him. I did take some advice then, and had new security cameras installed and lighting all around my house and changed every lock. I know it's a bit paranoid, but I've also screwed my letterbox shut and got a postbox outside, so he can't pour anything nasty through there. I also change my company car every couple of days in case he's put a tracker on it. I'm really overthinking it, but just being sure. I also was a bit petty and posted a picture on my Instagram of me on all fours and Emily with her hand on my bum lol. I'm not sticking up for my ex here, but I do want to clear up the issue of him choosing my outfits. That's always been my idea. I saw it on a film when I was younger, and always thought it seemed sexy my partner choosing an outfit that they find me attractive in, and it makes me excited to get home in it, so he can see me in it again. I've also had a lot of messages from both men and women, sadly, insulting me for being out at that time, and saying it's embarrassing a woman of my age behaving in such a way. I've also had a few women message me and tell me that I'm a whore for doing a striptease for my husband, and I'm degrading myself. No, it's not degrading to try and turn my husband on so he'll bang me until the sun comes up. Women enjoy sex too. Anyway, thank you everyone for caring, it really means a lot. Comments attention's bright 12 how to convince him? Reenactment. OOP tried that in my original post. He wasn't interested. Oppo 11 Onia first time reading about this, but good riddance. He's so unhinged. When you asked to look through his phone, and he said no BC, he's not on trial, it seems very clear that he's the one being unfaithful. I can't prove it, but it screams infidelity to me. Even if he wasn't cheating and projecting, the way he treated you was absolutely not okay, and I'm really glad you kicked him out and taking precautionary measures. Godspeed getting the divorce. It doesn't sound like you have kids, or else you probably would have mentioned it. Hopefully it won't be so bad since you don't have to worry about custody agreements. Just go your separate ways and forget about him. Maybe talk to a therapist if you can afford it though. BC, this sounds super traumatic, and you might find it useful to unpack with a professional. Best of luck, sister. OP, thank you. I too think he was cheating, but now I don't even care. Hopefully I never have to speak to him again. Isis Red, have the friend tell him she did it, and the story of how it came about. Clear the air with truth. If he doesn't believe that, there's likely very little you can do outside of finding other outside witnesses. If he then continues to think you're covering up a lie, then it's going to cause a personal rift nothing can fix. Sorry this is happening to you. OOP already tried all that, and now I don't care if I never speak to him again. Freddy's Nightmare 65, I hope you put in a police report about him pushing you around, destroying your clothes, and threatening to post videos of you. You need it on record in case it escalates. OOP, it won't escalate, as I'm not with him anymore. Swatch Slayer, damn, this is wild. Is he projecting? Sounds like he's upset he hadn't found anything. Sex had tapered off even though you wanted more, and he refused to show you his phone because he's not on trial. But either way, stay safe. Maybe take some self-defense classes if you haven't already. OOP, I definitely think he was projecting.